Hello friends, this is Cara-Renee with B.Reborn Art and Healing, coming to you with a requested video from a subscriber who left a comment. She was commenting on an old video from about 9 months ago when I did the Sugar Plum Fairies collaboration, and she had asked for me to show you the construction, how I put those envelopes together. So we will be doing that today on camera, but we will also come back in another video and cover all of the envelopes that we want to cover. So, but in step one, video one, I'm going to show you the construction. Now, my envelopes are a different size than that video because I don't have all of the same envelopes. We do still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 envelopes involved. Let me just check my math. Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 envelopes. Now this is all written out in pencil. I will probably type this up since it's pretty lengthy, but I think it might help you because when I first started doing this, it was really hard for me to keep track of what I was doing because there's so many flips and flops and so many options for opening a side, opening a top, you know, where you're going to glue it, what envelope you're going to glue it to, etc. So we'll talk about this as we do it. So we are going to be covering, when we come back in the next video, we're going to be covering them with the Pink Monarch Prints kit pages. So I really like these. I'm very drawn to these images, so we're going to be using that. I'm thinking that we might cover just for video purposes, so we don't have just brown envelopes in the thumbnail on this video. I think we'll cover this one and this one on the front, just so you can kind of see what that would look like as a start. So very limited supplies here. So we have our Fabri-Tac, which is what I'm going to use to glue the flaps, but we're also going to need to use the white glue because we're going to need a thin glue line to make our to open certain things, or to close things that we have to cut open in order to get the envelopes the right size, because this envelope here at the bottom is very big. It is just keep this in frame here. It's 5 3/4 by 8 3/4, which is too big for a journal topper. So we're going to be cutting that down. So I'm going to just put this over here. I need to be able to see it, but again, I'll make that copy available to you. Yeah, so on the first envelope, we're going to need to cut open the top and the side. So I'm going to bring my trimmer over and I'm going to move my glue because, oh my goodness, I have this and it's not taped down, so I can't bump into it currently. So I'm going to open this just in case we need that full length here. And we need to cut off, now this is going to be glued shut, so it doesn't matter what you do. In fact, let's just start with gluing this shut. I'm just going to use a little bit of Fabri-Tac and glue this flap shut because we don't need it for this project because it's going to get glued to or attached. Oh, we don't want to go that far. You don't want that. Not that much. Okay, just close that up. Okay. We'll use our metal ruler to make sure that I didn't get any glue in there that is unwanted. So we're going to cut a 1/2 inch off of the top. Okay, so a 1/2 inch off the top. And a 1/2 inch off the side. Actually, I'm thinking I'm going to cut it off of... Nope, I'm not going to cut it off that side. Let's cut it off the non-flapped side because I don't want to weaken that. So a 1/2 inch there, okay. And now we need to glue this one back shut. So I'm going to move the cutter for a second, and we'll have some little bits like that might get separated. It's not a big deal, but we don't want this flipping and flopping around. So we're going to go ahead and glue it shut. Get as small of a glue line as you possibly can. I had trouble on my prototype because I was trying to use such a little amount of glue that it wasn't really gluing it. Just let that get glued shut. Okay, and we're going to get this ruler in here because I'm concerned about that place. So that's completely closed. Yeah, we're looking good. I'm going to bring this over. I don't want to force that because whoops, I just did. So let me close that back up again. Struggle is real. If you need to re-glue that, it's not a big deal. So let me go ahead and close this up. I'm having a lot of trouble with this glue for some reason. Okay, so you're gonna, and so I forgot to say that we're starting with the largest first, okay? So we're starting from the bottom of the stack to the top of the stack, pretty much. And then that should be, your top should be open, okay? So we've got a pocket, a large pocket at the top. Okay, so then the next one is going to be our 5 1/4 by 7 1/2, or 7 1/4. So that should be this one. 5-ish, it's ish. 7 1/4. And on this one, we're going to open the top and we're going to glue the flap to the right side of the large envelope. So we just need to open the top. Now you can do this by hand. You don't have to bring the cutter over every time. So I'm just going to do this by hand, just for the sake of the video and just to not have to fuss with the trimmer when it's not necessary. You're basically just opening up that envelope. Okay. Yep. So it's open now, because that's going to also be a top loading pocket. So then we're going to glue this onto there. So don't worry about this flippy floppy. I put it in the instructions. You're going to have things like this, because when you unattach this, you're going to go, oh, what are we going to do with that? But that's going to all make sense when we start covering the envelopes. So right now we're just going to glue it to the flap. Glue the flap to the back of the large envelope. Oh my goodness. It is Sunday and I am racing to get some things done in the studio, as I mentioned in the video that you'll see tomorrow on Monday, that I am now playing serious catch up, because I played in the studio with putting some furniture together and doing a little bit of reorganizing. Now, I don't worry about this. If it's not even, I don't worry about it. It's just fine. If that matters to you, you could make a point of making that even, you know, so you have the same amount on the top and the bottom, but it's a stacked envelope, so it's not a big deal. Okay, so now you have your, you have your opening and your opening, okay? So, and sometimes it helps to go like this and put an arrow right here and an arrow right here, which tells you that that's your opening. Because when you start preparing your papers to cover all the envelopes, that can get a little bit tricky as well. So our next one is going to be our 4 1/4 by 6 1/4, which is this one. 4 1/4 by 6 1/4. And that being said, it doesn't matter if they are this this shape of envelope or if they have the V shape. It doesn't matter for this project. So this one, you're going to open on the right side, but I didn't say, see what, yeah, it's going to go here, right? Yeah, it's going to go here. Sorry, I have to look at the prototype. So we just need to open the side of this envelope, because this is the flap. So we're going to do that. I'm going to get the trimmer on this one, because it's a it's a longer piece. You just want to open it. Don't take off too much. Okay, there we go. And then that one's good to go. But again, you're going to get that flippy floppy business, potentially. Nope, we didn't on that one because of the shape of the envelope. So then this one is going to get glued to here. Okay, so your flap is going to go that way. So let's just leave it like that, and then we can kind of line this up a little bit. That will be helpful. And if for whatever reason you forget to open something up, you usually can come back and do that after they're glued together. So it's not a big deal. Don't fret about it. So we are, in case you missed the previous video that again will be airing tomorrow at the time of this filming, we're going to actually making this for the Keepsake Journal. We're going to have an envelope flip topper for the Keepsake Journal. Okay, so that is that. Boom. We're already 3 down. So then make an arrow here that says your opening is this way. And then on our next one is going to be these two. These measure 3 9/16 by 5 1/8. So 3 9/16 by 5 1/8. And we're going to go here. So these pieces are going to go on this middle envelope, which would be originally the 5 1/4 by 7 1/4 inch one. So on your first one, you're going to open the top and glue the flap to the bottom. Okay, like that. But we're going to open that top. I'm going to just turn to my cutter and trim so I don't have to keep bringing it back over. There we go. We'll go ahead and make our arrow now, right? And then we're going to glue that to the bottom of this one. So there's a lot of flipping and flopping, so don't be concerned. Now we do have to be careful of that. So we do not want to open that up. Let me fuss with this a second. I didn't think about that because you don't want to get any glue in here. And I might have messed that up on the other one, which doesn't matter. This is just now a template for future use. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, I'm just going to make a non-glue line right here. And I'm hoping that I can translate that. Actually, why don't we just put the glue on this part instead? So I'm going to make a glue line with kind of the negative space here. Hope this is making sense because I do not want to close that part of that envelope. Sorry, my phone is buzzing. Okay, so now we can just fill this all in with the glue. Just the Fabri-Tac will do fine. And when you're doing this, you can do any configuration you want. You can do as many envelopes as you want. You could have more than I have. I just find that this is an amount that is easy to manage, which is why I prefer it. Now, I don't mind if that's really firmly pressed up there. It's fine. It doesn't create any bulk. So then just make sure that you don't have any glue under that little bit of flap, okay? And there we go. So that one is in place and it is opened at the top. And what this is going to do is when we put something in this pocket, it's going to hold this one in place. So this one's going to be glued to the top of the this envelope, but we're going to stick this flap inside. So you see that it's inside the other opening. Okay, but we need to open this one up. And how did we do that? Now, by opening this up, what we're creating though is a shorter envelope. I don't mind that, so I'm going to take off as little as I possibly can here. So I'm going to use my little scissors here, just enough to open it. Hopefully just a hair's breadth, as Angela Kerr says. My husband and I were sitting at the dining room table this morning, and there was a little rabbit out. It's raining. It was raining earlier, really hard, and there's a little rabbit sitting out under the tree in the shelter from the rain. So now this one has our opening over here, okay? And this is going to get glued in here. Now, let's make sure we don't have to worry about that same problem, which we do. So that's a good thing I checked. I bet my other one is messed up. So this is going to be a little bit trickier. Not really, though. So now we can just put a pencil mark here, okay, and put glue on the rest of that. This whole process confounded me so much when I started that it just frustrated me. I was like, I'm just never doing this again until I figured out, for one thing, you want to make sure you don't ever get any glue in here because then you would close your pocket, which will make more sense when we get to the, I got to do this, get to the covering of the paper. So with the paper, let me open that up. Sorry guys, this is really close to my body, but I want you to see what this looks like as it goes in. And because we're going to try to get it even as we can. So I'm going to scooch that over. Come on, scooch, scooch. Okay, just so that see, you cannot even tell that sliver came off. So that's great. Okay, and turn this over, make sure that we don't have anything in there. That looks great. And that flap is not going to get in the way of anything. And I do know that doing all this flipping and flopping on camera can be a little crazy. So there we go. So I'm upside down or this way. Okay. Right? Boom, boom, boom. Oh, no, we're not. We're upside down. Ah. Yeah, that's right. So these go under this one. These go under like that. Okay, so our last one is the tiny one, and we are going to open the top of the envelope, and we're going to put this flap inside of here. Now, you could do 2 if you wanted to. I'm not going to in this case, but you could probably fit 2 here, and that would be kind of cool, kind of a double flip. So we need to open up the top of this envelope. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go ahead and just take a sliver off. And then we're going to cover the top 2 envelopes just so you can see. Maybe the top and the back. We'll see. We're doing good on time. We've only been at this 15 minutes, so I feel pretty good about the video. So maybe we'll go a little bit further than I planned. Can we get it open or not? Struggle is real. It's a double layered right there, so that's probably why. Just get her open. Okay, and we're going to put our glue on the side of this, on the flap, the inside of the flap. And then I am going to actually come down a little bit further than I did on this one because I think I'd like to put a taller tag in here. So I'm going to come down a little bit further, like almost to the bottom, maybe 1/4 of an inch from the bottom, because that will allow me a tall tag in that pocket. So there you go. Boom. Okay, so what I need you to do is just give me a second. In YouTube time, you won't even notice. You'll see a little page flip, and then we'll be done. I need to cut off all the edges of that paper so that we can just freely move on and do a little bit of this today. So give me a second. Okay, we are going to just do probably the front and back of each of these envelopes because I want to show you in this video how you guard this pocket area, so that will help us get to that resolution. So I think I want this to be, how did these get mixed up? I thought I had my papers at the top that I wanted. Oh, right here. I think I'm changing my mind on that one. Let's see what we want for the 2 top envelopes. Now these are printed on 20-pound paper, which is not my preferred paper, but it's great for covering envelopes. You don't need something super heavy. I think I want this one actually. Yeah, I want that one. Okay, so this is so easy, guys, and I'm going to show you a shortcut for doing this so that you're not just relying on measuring. So let's start with the small one. So I think I want to use this. So I just basically do this. This is what I call the cheat method, where I just line it up like that. Okay. And then just make a pencil mark. And a pencil mark. And then cut it. So give me a sec. I'm not going to bring this back over because it's just too much on my desk right now. So boom. Okay, so that is that one. So let me grab, oh, I do not like inking. I do not like inking 20-pound paper though. Whoops, I just dropped it. Yikesies. It's so flimsy and it's just not my preferred paper weight. So let's go ahead and ink this up and then we'll do the other one. Oh, I do not like 20-pound paper. Now I could ink this once it's on because I'm not allowing a margin border. So I think we're going to do that because that's going to frustrate me. So let's just go ahead and cover this with glue. I would advise you use Fabri-Tac or something that gives you a little bit more wiggle room. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. It's a square, so it should be pretty simple. Just like that. These turn out so great. I just love envelope flips. Whether they're an insert inside of your journal or the journal topper, they're really, really cool. So let's do the one underneath. Okay. And again, that's an opening. So let's go ahead and do the same here. I'm going to just line this up. It's helpful if you do it like so, and then mark here so you can really see that line. On this paper, it's a little bit trickier. And then what I do is I move it up and over so that I can see the bottom. It's really hard to see this envelope though. Okay, so now I can see the bottom edge of the envelope right down here. So I'm going to trim this one up as well. So the trouble is it's hard to see with a pencil line, so that pencil mark is just tricky as heck. So there we go. Put this one on. Actually, what we could do is we could just cut another one with a different paper. So let's go ahead and use this and just, let's do some cheating here. It's going to be the same on the other side. So this will help us to just, boom, boom. I should have done that with the other one. Okay. So let me trim that up. So again, we can ink once we get this on here. And then, oh shoot, I just cut that. I cut that wrong. No, I'm looking at this envelope. Ugh. Okay, we need to do, cut one more of this one. So let me find another piece. I'm just kind of doing them all a little bit different. So we got a lot of contrast here. So let's just do this last one so that we can just glue them at the same time rather than bouncing back and forth between cutting and gluing. Try to make a little bit of longer line there. And then move it back to the top, and this is the part that's so hard to see. Okay, one moment. I don't like dealing with the 9/16 and the 5/16, so that's ready to go. Let's just do this first. So it's going to go on here like this. Now, in order to protect that pocket, you don't want to put glue in here. So we're going to put a little bit of white glue along this edge, and the rest of it's going to be Fabri-Tac. So get that white glue ready. I always do the Fabri-Tac first because you have a little bit more time. Then when you put a white glue on your paper, you have to move pretty fast or it dries. So just giving that plenty. Oh, getting it all over my table. Par for the course. And then just a little bit of white glue without putting your hand in all of this. Just, this isn't super important because it's not like anything is going to go anywhere, but it does help to adhere that paper on that top edge. Okay, so we're going to place this down. I'm touching the white first. That's important. And then just wiggle that a little bit until you get it. Got a little bit of a border on this one, but that's okay. So that's how you protect that pocket, and I'm going to show that to you here. So our pocket is at the top, so I like to check my work after I do that. Sorry, this is close to my body. Come on, pocket, where are you? See, got a pocket. It's all open. So that's what you want. Okay, so let's put this one on. Oh, so cool. I love this paper so much. Okay, we can just glue this straight on because there's no inside to deal with on this side, and we'll show you that how to do that carefully on the inside one more time. Just got glue on the under envelope, and we'll wipe that off. You do want to get it pretty good to the edges because you don't want that to come up. I did, so that Sugar Plum Fairy project that I did, it was an envelope flip. I sent that to Evie. She was the challenge winner in the group for August, I believe. I still need to go in and do September, so my apologies, folks. And we'll just get that glue off of there. And we're going to glue this on. And then we just got one more, and then we'll be done for today, and we'll come back and finish the rest of it off in the next video. So, boom. Love it. Love it. Okay, let's just give that a chance to settle in. We've got a little bit of white that I didn't get cut off, but that'll be inked up, so no big deal. So again, this looks a little bit different. No, it doesn't. I guess it doesn't look different, but you do want to make sure that you don't get any glue up in here, okay? So see how that's all open? We want to maintain that. So I'm going to go ahead and do the white glue first because it's on the right side here. It's closest to me. If that makes any sense. And then we're just going to move quickly with the powder tack and hope that works. So when we do the second video, I'll have all of the rest of my papers pre-cut, and I'll also have some ephemera ready. Now I'm going to turn this way because I need to get to that white. This is not a directional paper, so I'm not too concerned. If it was directional, you'd want to be paying attention to that. But this should be fine, and that I like to be able to get my my paper right up there and touch that white glue first. I've got extra glue here, okay, and boom, that's it. So let's ink this up just so you can see how delicious this looks when it's inked. Now the only problem with that, you don't get a chance to ink that inside edge, which I didn't think of. Sometimes I will do this lighter paper that I'm covering envelopes with, a 32-pound paper, but my paper right now, because it's been moved so much, it's all mixed up, and I don't know which one is the 32-pound. So I need to spend some time labeling that stuff again after I made some changes in here, moved the paper, and it got a little bit messed up. So I'm just doing that and doing that edge. I'm so off camera, I'm sorry guys. And let's get this edge as well. We got a little bit of more of an edge there. I'm not sure why. It doesn't matter. I don't strive for perfection here. So I just embrace the quirks. You could call them mistakes. I call them quirks. And I'm just going to fold that and see if I can get some ink in there. Yes, yes, yes. And we can probably do the same here, so no problem there with that inner edge. Okay, so that's basically what you're going to do through the whole thing. Okay, so let's get this back in shape here. So this is what she looks like. Okay, oh, it's upside down. Those arrows helped me, right? This arrow is going up, so that's up. So when you start decorating, that's going to be super important. You're going to want to be looking every time you start to attach paper that you don't get something close, you don't put your paper on upside down. Now, let's say that happened, and this was the only one that was open. You could close it and open up the other end. So it's not like it's a complete, loss. So that's what she looks like. And we will continue in video 2 and cover all the rest of them. Again, I will have all the papers cut just to save time. We'll just zip through that, and then we'll make some journal cards, or maybe we won't make. So I was debating on this journal whether or not I wanted to put a bunch of stuff in the pockets, because this is a keepsake journal. So I'm thinking that I want to leave a lot of these pockets without anything in them, so that the recipient can put stuff in them that they want to have in them. So I'm just thinking, what, oh, that was open there. I was like, where did I open that? But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. There's going to be plenty of writing space and tucks and things in the journal. So I will ponder that before I come back for the second video. But that is it for today, guys. I hope that that met your need. I'm sorry, I do not remember your name. It's just fallen out of my brain. But I thank you for the ask. That's what I want to hear on the channel. I want to know what you guys want to see, and I will do my very best to always meet that need. You just have to let me know. Hey, I'd love to see you do that, or hey, can you do that again because I didn't quite understand it, or the video is crap, or whatever. I know none of you would say the video is crap, but you could ask for what you need, and I will do my very best to meet that. So I will see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.